Okay, welcome in. Little afternoon edition of Good Morning Hockey. Happy afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thank you for being here with us on this a very rainy Thursday here in Chicago, but a good day to be alive. Good day to watch hockey. A lot of great hockey last night. A lot of good hockey tonight. 9 games on the go around the NHL. But I feel like there's no more important place to start and no other place to start that is more appropriate than the Devils Rangers line brawl yesterday. Obviously, we all saw what transpired there. We all saw the pictures. We all saw the fights. Rempe McDermott, K'Andre Miller, John Marino. A lot of good ones yesterday. And that was a wild way to start a hockey game. I think we all knew that the game was going to begin like that, especially as it got closer to puck drop. Dawson Mercer and Will Cooley fighting after about 4.5 minutes into the game, too. All the players on the ice getting game misconducts, 10 aside. I don't know that I've really seen that before. Obviously, we saw the Rangers and Devils do this about 10 years ago now, about in 2013. And, Cam Jansen, and that was a great one. There are a lot of similarities to that. But Rangers walk away with a big win. Fun Matt Rempe stats here because you all knew that was coming, especially after the Bastian hit and the Siegenthaler hit and the lack of response, I guess you could say, in the game prior that those two teams played. So Matt Rempe in 3 career games versus the Devils, 5 minutes and 3 seconds total time on ice, 47 penalty minutes, and ejected in all 3 games. Matt Rempe is the first player in NHL history to be ejected in his first 3 games against a single franchise. This kid means business. I mean, look, we all saw the pregame clip of him slapping himself in the face before warmups. We saw the tweet afterward that came today saying how lively Madison Square Garden was. And, the kid's a quote, obviously, said he didn't really expect to be thrown out of the game and that all of them were. And just a fun guy, and I think Curtis McDermott certainly has a lot more respect for him. There is a lot to digest here. You have Peter Laviolette yelling over to Travis Green on the New Jersey Devils bench, and Travis Green saying after the game that he didn't really understand why Laviolette was so mad, saying that if this had been settled the last game, that it would not have extended into last night. Discuss amongst yourselves. But obviously, Rempe was going to have to answer in some way or another. The fact that it broke out into a brawl the way that it did was more exciting for a hockey fan than I have to, I have to admit it was great. It was a great watch. It was a great way to start the night. Obviously, you had the Reeves and Tanner Jeannot fight in the Maple Leafs game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So a great way to kick off fight night around the NHL. I really enjoyed it. I love the personality even from somebody like K'Andre Miller, who's becoming a really, really good player for the New York Rangers. Held back on a fallen down John Marino when, looked like John Marino was begging for mercy a little bit there. And then K'Andre Miller hit him with the too small and just shows a lot more personality in the game. Hockey's tough again. I love it. Did you catch the brawl at all, Raven?
Yeah, I got to see a lot of the clips. I saw a lot of the pictures, like the before and after of Rempe. His hands were really cut up and bleeding pretty bad. So
it was a good fight too.
It was a good
fight.
I mean, I saw a lot of like tweets and Instagram about like non-hockey fans seeing this and getting like intrigued by it. So that's also pretty cool. But
and just the commentary around it too was really good. I saw some comments that was like about Rempe being born to fight and forced to play hockey, things like that. I mean, it's just great, the legend that this kid has turned himself into. Look, I don't know how many games this guy is going to play in the National Hockey League, but he's certainly making the most of it while he is here. This is the full list of people that were ejected at the 2-second mark of the first period. From the Devils, Curtis McDermott, Chris Tierney, Kevin Ball, John Marino, and from the Rangers, Matt Rempe, Barclay Goodrow, K'Andre Miller, and Jacob Trouba. So 8 ejections. I'm sorry, not 10. but still very exciting. Rangers come away with the win too. Capo Caco with the late goal to tie it, and then Chris Kreider with the late goal to win it. The unraveling of this New Jersey Devils season. I know it never really looked fully on track for the Devils. You know, you can blame a lot of things: young defensemen, poor goaltending, injuries to the forwards up front, and but this late season implosion, I guess if you want to call it that, because that's kind of what this is turning into with some of these late blown leads. Obviously, you had them letting in 5 goals to the Penguins earlier in the week, and now this. This is going to be studied by a lot of hockey media and hockey analysts, not just in the rest of the season, the coming weeks, last 2 weeks of the season, but into the summertime. There will be a lot of questions about how this happened and what can be done in New Jersey to get things back on track. So that was the game of the night for certain. You know, Tampa Bay looks really good right now. They are probably the hottest team in the National Hockey League. The Tampa Bay Lightning skating away with a 4-1 win over the Leafs. Yeah, Andrei Vasilevsky looks like the best goalie in the world again. And that is enormous for Tampa Bay. If you are the Boston Bruins right now, who they would face in round 1 of the playoffs, you have to be a little nervous. You get upset by Florida in the first round last year. Now, could the same thing happen again with the Tampa Bay Lightning, who I don't know would be painted as much of an underdog as the Florida Panthers were last year, in contrast to that 62-win Bruins team. But the Bruins are fully expected to be the favorites in any series they enter in the first round. And I would not want to play this Tampa Bay Lightning team right now. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10. Vasilevsky's looking really good. So is Victor Hedman as well. And the rest of the defense, you know, you got players like Hayden Fleury and Lilleberg and all of these different defensemen that haven't really gotten, Darren Radish, who haven't gotten full-time NHL duty up until being called upon now. And they're thriving with it. So they're buying into the John Cooper style of play. Anthony Duclair is a really good fit for that team. I know I've said that before in this program, but I will say it again and probably say it a few more times into the lead, into the playoffs. He has been a very, very good fit for them. And you have to wonder where they would be without a player like Matt Dumba, because an already thin defense would be even thinner. We're going to touch on the games tonight here in a little bit, and we're also going to touch on the Women's Worlds kicking off yesterday. We have a few college signings and a few Hobey Baker news and notes here. So Colin Graff, first of all, signing with the San Jose Sharks, a 3-year entry-level deal. He was one of the hottest commodities among the college free agent crop this year. 49 points, 22 goals in 34 games this season with Quinnipiac, the reigning national champions, but they will not be in contention for that title this year. So Colin Graff signs with the Sharks. It is expected he will join the team immediately and burn that first year of his entry-level contract. That is a good signing for Sharks fans. You got to be happy about that one. The Hobey Baker finalists were announced. The Hobey Baker Memorial Award Hat Trick finalists, as they were called. You have Jackson Blake from the University of North Dakota. You have projected first overall pick Macklin Celebrini. And you have Cutter Gauthier amongst your 3. So, yeah, I mean, so the case for all 3 are really, really good. Probably a bit of more case should have been placed for Will Smith, who does lead the nation in scoring, is leading the charge for a very, very good Eagles team. But there are certainly a lot of players on that Eagles team that could have made a case to be in the final 3. It is Cutter Gauthier taking that spot. He's been very, very good, too. Leads college hockey in goals. And just been, you know, he has 37 goals on the season, which is, you know, 5 behind or 5 more than Macklin Celebrini for second. So Cutter Gauthier has been putting the puck in the back of the net at a great rate there. And he's been very, very good. And Macklin Celebrini, obviously, second in the nation in total points, 64 points, 5 behind Will Smith. And so there's been a lot said about Celebrini, not just here, but in other media and the like. And, you know, this kid was Hockey East Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, going first overall in this year's draft. So if he does not win this award this year, he will have a strong case next year if he indeed does return for another year. And then Jackson Blake, you know, I know his UND Hawks were upset after winning the NCHC, or finishing with the best record in the NCHC. He was Conference Forward of the Year, Conference Player of the Year. They lost in the regional semifinals to Michigan. Jesus. But he had 60 points in 40 games this year, right behind Celebrini and Gauthier. I mean, this guy's incredible. And another guy that we've talked about that could make that leap. So those are your 3 finalists for the Hobey Baker Award, which, for those of you that do not know, is the hockey equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. So that is a very prestigious award to win. And we'll see who takes it. I mean, if I had to, it's hard to handicap these kinds of things, but if I had to handicap it in some way, I would probably guess that Macklin Celebrini wins it. Just because of what he's been able to do at the age he's been able to do it at. Gauthier and Blake are a little bit older than Celebrini. Keep in mind that this kid has been 17 years old playing college hockey this entire year. Playing against grown men. So a bit of a different ball game, different way to look at it. I mean, all 3 players have been impressive. So whoever wins it will be a worthy winner. But those are your 3 finalists for the Hobey Baker Trophy. Looks like Aaron Ekblad is going to be out for the rest of the regular season for the Florida Panthers, undisclosed injury. They are pretty confident that he will be, quote, 100% and ready to go by the first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is according to Paul Maurice. Played about 7 minutes on Tuesday before being ruled out the rest of the game with an injury. And the quote from Maurice on Ekblad's injury, nothing new and it's not unknown to us. He's got a real good handle on how long it's going to take, and he's progressing really well from it today. So we're getting there. We're going to miss him. Josh Mahura will step in for the Panthers tonight as they visit the Ottawa Senators. Uvis Balinskis was also recalled from Charlotte to the American Hockey League. He will also play over the final couple of weeks of the regular season. So that is a tough loss for the Florida Panthers. On the other side of the ice in that one tonight, on the Ottawa side, doesn't look like that he will return today, but Thomas Chabot is nearing a return for the Ottawa Senators, maybe this weekend. Hasn't played since March 27th against the Buffalo Sabres. We will see. We will see if we get Thomas Chabot return on the weekend. Same goes for Tomas Hertl. We mentioned him yesterday. He's been skating on his own. He practiced a little bit with the team, but didn't play yesterday or Tuesday against the Canucks. So we will see if we see him in the lineup going forward. And Sean Couturier, Flyers captain of recent note because of healthy scratch, will miss at least the next 2 games for the Flyers because of an upper body injury. Considered today, he is not with the team for their game in Buffalo tomorrow, or the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday for that matter. Lost the New York Islanders on Monday in the first period after falling hard into the board. So Philadelphia will look to get back on track without their captain. They've lost 5 straight and are hanging on by a thread, only 1 point on the Washington Capitals so far. Should make note about the big game of the night because we have 9, but one stands out in particular when looked at compared to the rest, and that is the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals. And this game bears serious playoff implications. Don't look now, but the Pittsburgh Penguins have really charged themselves into being in consideration for this playoff spot. I know a few weeks ago I said there is absolutely no way that the Pittsburgh Penguins are making the playoffs, and here I look now a fool. They sit 3 points behind the Washington Capitals for that last wild card spot. So a win in regulation tonight would go a long way toward the Penguins chasing down that final spot. Sidney Crosby has 15 points in his last 6 games. 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points, 6 games. Sidney Crosby. And their schedule the rest of the way is very interesting. They're in Washington tonight, obviously, at home versus Tampa Bay on Saturday. Then in Toronto, at home versus Detroit, Boston, and Nashville. And then their last game is on the road at the New York Islanders. So 4 matchups against teams they are currently chasing or in a chase with. Depends on if you want to throw Tampa Bay in there, even though it looks like they will be making the playoffs pretty handedly. Tampa Bay, by the way, will be in Montreal tonight to take on the Canadiens. Second half of a back-to-back for them. Look for Matt Tompkins to get the start tonight for The Tampa Bay Lightning, no Jonas Johansson, and they will not ride Andrei Vasilevsky back-to-back games. Should note, too, that with that Maple Leafs loss and also with the Edmonton Oilers 5-0 loss to Dallas, boy, did Dallas look good in that one, too. Just ran over the Oilers, lots of speed, lots of skill, imposed their will on a game, and before you knew it, for the Edmonton Oilers, it was over. So both Canadian teams, the Maple Leafs and the Oilers, are unable to clinch a playoff spot last night. A Canadian team has the opportunity to clinch tonight. That is the Winnipeg Jets. If they defeat the Calgary Flames in any fashion, they will clinch a playoff berth. Or 1 point against the Flames, Blues lose to the Predators in any fashion. Or if the Wild lose to the Avalanche in any fashion and the Blues lose to the Predators in regulation, Winnipeg will clinch. So looking good for them tonight to become, the fifth team to join the playoff race right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to become the eighth team. So halfway there. If the Winnipeg Jets can punch their ticket tonight, they should have a good chance against the Calgary Flames. Although I did have a few notes about the Calgary Flames for the other day, and I forgot to mention it, and I just wanted to bring it up now. I know they lost to the Anaheim Ducks the other day, but Nazem Kadri is still drawing defenders in, still playing really hard, still giving everything he has, working for his teammates, getting his teammates open, making space for his teammates, notably Andrei Kuzmenko, really doing everything he can in what is a lost season in Calgary. Also, we heard Mackenzie Weegar step up after that loss to the Ducks, saying the team needs to be better. So they will have an opportunity to spoil the party in Winnipeg tonight. Flames are in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. Blues and Predators, we mentioned that one also, and we also mentioned the Wild and the Avalanche. Those should all be good games. And look, I know St. Louis is probably out of it, and I know Minnesota's probably out of it, but you never know. The more wins, everybody in the West seems to be locked up right now, but we're playing that game in the Eastern Conference right now of who wants it, or at least who doesn't want it, because for a little bit it seems here that nobody really wants it, whether you're Detroit, whether you're Washington, whether you're Philly, or the Islanders. You do not want that last playoff spot for some reason. So we will see who really wants it over the next couple of days, and we will not exclude the Western Conference teams from that until it is official. What did become official yesterday as far as teams missing the playoffs, the Seattle Kraken. They missed the playoffs after qualifying for the first time last year. Look, there's a lot of reason for hope in Seattle. You know, you have some unrestricted free agents that you might want to take care of in some way or another. Tomas Tatar, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Justin Schultz, Chris Driedger, notably. You also have a couple of restricted free agents that you're going to have to lock up in one way or another. Matty Beniers, Eeli Tolvanen, and Kailer Yamamoto. But you have 9 draft picks in this year's draft. And you're building. You're going to enter next season with Shane Wright as your number 2 center behind Matty Beniers. I know he's not won the job yet, but don't fault me for dreaming and for just expecting that this player is going to take that next step in his development. It was a tough loss yesterday for the Kraken against the Kings. Trevor Moore with the hat trick in that one. Really solid performance by him. He's just been so underratedly good this season. I know there are people talking about Trevor Moore, but he's already at 29 goals now with that hat trick. And as a local kid playing for his team that he grew up watching, one of the teams he grew up with in that state of California, that's got to feel really good to be having one of your best seasons in the league for the LA Kings. So he's from Thousand Oaks, California. So he's going to hit 30 this year, and Kings beat the Kraken 5-2. But look, there's a lot of reason for hope in Seattle. Jordan Eberle re-signed. You are going to probably have a bounce back in terms of the shooting percentage. They weren't as good as they showed last season, in my mind, and they are not as poor as they've shown this season as well. So in reality, it's probably somewhere in the middle, and you hope that if you take that next step with some of these young guys, the Beniers, the Wrights, even in Eeli Tolvanen, who a lot was expected of, and we saw flashes of it, You know, if we see a next step from goalie Joey Decord as well. I know he's 27, but you know he's been very very good this year. Has a 918 save percentage. The Kraken need to give him some more goal support, a few more luck in the overtime and shootouts, and they'll be right back in the mix next season. So, really good future as well for Kraken fans. I would not be too worried about missing the playoffs this season. With an eye towards the future, they should have a nice draft pick for themselves. So we mentioned this this Penguins Capitals game and how important this game is. Definitely the most important game of the night, the one with the most intrigue. And no, it is not 2016 again, everybody. It is 2024. And Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby are still going head-to-head for the playoffs on the line. Alex Nedeljkovic is going to get the start tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This coming from their morning skate today, first goalie off the ice. Looks like Charlie Lindgren will go for the Washington Capitals. I know he's been really good this season, but you thought maybe that you might get Darcy Kemper in there a little bit just because Charlie Lindgren has looked tired over the last little bit. Not to put words in his mouth, but that was a tough game against the Buffalo Sabres, 6-2 on Monday. So Darcy Kemper and Alex Nedeljkovic are your goalies for the big matchup tonight. And it looks like Ilya Sorokin will also be in net for the New York Islanders, getting his second straight start in a row against the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is a huge game for the New York Islanders as well. Even though this doesn't really play a bunch of role in the playoff race right now, the Bruins Hurricanes is also going to be a good one tonight. Potential Eastern Conference Final playoff preview, maybe. And we'll also get the Kings at the Sharks tonight in your Battle of California matchup. Maybe Trevor Moore hits 30 tonight in his home state. So want to talk about the Women's Worlds a little bit. They kicked off yesterday. China with a big win today over Japan. That was a very large upset. China, obviously, their first year back up promoted. And Japan, a hockey mainstay. Germany leading Denmark right now, 1-0 in that one. And few of the games yesterday, USA wins 4-0. Aaron Frankel with the shutout. Goals from Wynn, Coyne Schofield, Hillary Knight, and Wynn again. Czechia blanks Finland 4-0. Karla Plesarova with the shutout, and Sapovailova. Adela Sapovailova. Keep that name in the back of your mind. She is going to be very good. I know you have the Slovakian star Nela, who is not representing Slovakia at the 1A level for the Women's Worlds, but is a very good young name that obviously we've seen a lot of the clips and the highlights, and she's over at Bishop Kearney now with the selects team over there, developing nicely. But Sapovailova is a very, very good player for the Czech Republic and will be for the foreseeable future. We will see Canada and Finland tonight. Sweden beating Denmark 3-1 in the first game of the tournament last year. Denmark, how about this? This is an interesting stat. Denmark scoring a goal on 5 shots. I know they lost, and I know Sweden carried the play for a large majority of that game, but only getting 5 shots on net and putting one past Emma Soderberg is a good result. At least as good as you can get by only getting 5 shots on net. A few more college and major junior signings here. And we also had a trophy unveiling. Raven, if maybe you could look up a little bit more about this, the PWHL trophy that they announced today. They announced this trophy, and it's going to be called the Walter Cup. I know a few people, there was some talk about them using the Isabel Cup from the now defunct PHF. There was some history there. Isabel being the lady counterpart to Lord Stanley. There was some other talk about using older trophies that have been used in other women's hockey championships. A lot of them reside at the Hockey Hall of Fame now. They decided to go the new trophy route and are calling it the Walter Cup in honor of the Walter family, who has helped a lot in the getting going of this league.
Got some information for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
It's a sterling silver trophy with some different designs of like hockey sticks, a lot of hockey elements hidden in there. But it's going to be 35 pounds, standing 2 feet tall and over 13 inches wide, with a removable base for the engraved name of each year's winning team.
That's interesting. So not like you think of the Stanley Cup, right? And I know that is a different trophy than a lot of trophies.
Apparently, Billie Jean King also proposed proposed the cup to be named after the Walter family.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I think they went more with what the board and what the investors wanted.
Yeah, look, and I'm cool with that because this would not be what it is without the Walter family, nor would it be what it is without Billie Jean King and her group as well. So you could make a case to call it the Billie Jean King Cup, although I think that might already be a tennis tournament, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, it is good to honor the people that are currently making it happen, because this league looks like it's going to be a big success, and if this is the beginning of things, then that is a good place to start, is naming it after the people that really helped make it happen. A few more notes here. I think I am looking at the same picture you are, Raven. Skate marks on the inside of the trophy, hockey sticks on the side, 6 W's around the cup commemorating the 6 original teams, rays of light signifying the dawn of a new era in women's hockey, and a PWHL puck shattering a glass ceiling on the bottom. That is pretty cool. Made by Tiffany & Co. I think they make the trophy for the PLL, the Outdoor Lacrosse League, the Premier Lacrosse League, if any of you know what that is. I think they make the trophies for that as well. So that is your trophy. Am I really?
Yes. You got it right.
Wow. Yeah, no, I like it. I wonder if the Isabel Cup now, I really do wonder if that is sitting in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't know. Few more news and notes here. A few guys signing. Blackhawks signed forward Nick Lardis to a 3-year entry-level deal. He had 50 points in 37 games with the Brantford Bulldogs of the OHL this season. He was a second-round pick by the Hawks in last year's draft. New Jersey Devils signing Dylan Wendt to a 2-year entry-level deal. He played for Western Michigan University last year, the Broncos. Had 23 goals, 44 points in 38 games. He is a 23-year-old undrafted free agent. Let's see, a few more here. Sam Lipkin, he was definitely a big name that was one of the more coveted guys. A lot of players. He was drafted by Arizona, so he would have had to stay another year at Quinnipiac in order to put a little scare into the Coyotes, but he chooses to turn pro. You could see the emotion on his face after Quinnipiac lost in overtime in their regional championship game, the defending national champions. He won last year with them, signs a 3-year contract with the Coyotes, 35 points, 39 games this season with the Bobcats. And, we mentioned Colin Graff. Chris Wagner gets an extension. Nice to see Chris Wagner get an extension. Just seems like a really nice guy. I think was forgotten about a bit in Boston. But is a local to the area guy. Really enjoyed playing for the Bruins, it seemed like. And he's been up and down this season. He's played in 10 games with the Avs. He's played in 17 games with the Eagles this year of the American Hockey League. But nice to see him get another extension to stick around in the NHL again. Let's see. Are we missing anything? Oh, Igor Sidorov gets the 3-year entry-level deal. Igor Sidorov of the behind-the-back shot. I don't know if anybody remembers that highlight as well. That was a very, very cool one. Really had a nice season this year. Is having a nice season with the Saskatoon Blades of the WHL, 88 points in 66 regular season games. He was drafted by Anaheim last year. And one last one, a large goaltender, not as large as some of these, not as large as Cooper Black and not as large as Ivan Fedotov, but Victor Osman is signed by the Seattle Kraken, 2-year entry-level deal, 23-year-old Maine Black Bears netminder. Coulson Pitre also gets a contract with the Ducks. So that is your news and notes for the day. I am seeing if there's anything that we missed. and I don't think that there is. A few more guys, though. This was an interesting article on the NHL.com. Just a few more guys that signed, and what kind of impact that they're going to have, written by Patrick Williams. I'm not going to read through his article, but I am going to name the names because Stephen Halliday was a big prospect for the Ottawa Senators, and not everyone knew if he was going to sign with them after 2 seasons at Ohio State. But he signs his 2-year deal. It'll kick in next season, but he's on a tryout with Belleville, and he will ride out the rest of the season with them. Jackson Nelson, too. He was really, really good. I know he's a bit older, and his 1-year contract will kick in next season. He's a 24-year-old. But he was the captain at the University of Minnesota this year. Was really, really good for the Golden Gophers. Had a couple 2-goal games in the tournament, and just been really good. And a few more guys like Ryan Ufko, who I think is a really good defenseman, going to a very good team to be a defensive prospect in the Nashville Predators. He will join the Milwaukee Admirals, and a couple netminders. Obviously, I just mentioned Cooper Black will join Charlotte, and Ben Cross will join Texas of the AHL. So check out that article by Patrick Williams. It should be a good one. Also want to give a shout out to Akim Aliu, playing in his first game with the San Jose Barracuda. I know it's been a while, his first hockey game since he played 6 in Czechia in 1920. So I know that's been a long road back to him to get back on the ice. So very nice to see. I think that's going to do it for us here today. We're going to keep it short. Sorry we were brought to you in the afternoon, but it is all good. We thank you for joining us no matter what time it is and wherever you are from. We see you, we hear you. Leave comments, leave 5 stars. If you haven't watched On the Gravel already, I don't know why. Go check it out. It's awesome. And we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the hockey tonight, everybody.